Things just took a scary twist. With the contracts of Trey Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart still up in the air, a player has been linked to the Bengals. We'll break down the report and what it could mean if they decide to go outside the organization instead of working out the contracts for Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart. Welcome to the jungle. This is Isaac Coffman with Bengals Digest. So happy to see you. And if you want to be up to date with all things Bengals, smash that subscribe button. Be a part of the community. This has been an eventful offseason. We want to hear your thoughts and what you think of the ongoing contract negotiations with Trey Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart, all the news, all the excitement that has been going on around the Bengals. So a recent report has been out saying that Trey Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart's contract has actually stalled some plans the Bengals had concerning Za'Darius Smith. Za'Darius Smith just recently got released by the Detroit Lions. So there was a link that he could potentially join up with the Bengals. But that has stalled since the negotiations with Trey Hendrickson, who has voiced he will sit out if he does not get some kind of pay increase to his current contract. He is owed $16 million this year, is probably seeking somewhere into the 30 to 40 million range per year. And then Shemar Stewart, on the other hand, has not been pleased with the wording in his rookie contract. So he left minicamp. There is talks of him not showing up to training camp. It's a mess, to say the least. We've heard it time and again. If you've been keeping up with the news, you've been seeing it kind of unravel, the drama, the tension that has been going between the Bengals and Hendrickson and Stewart. But this is an interesting thought. The Bengals have had interest in Za'Darius Smith, who was on the Detroit Lions last year. He was traded over from the Browns, but still amassed 9 sacks last year. So not too bad, considering this is a guy that is on the market. They could go out and sign this guy. His salary last year was $11 million. And oddly enough, the Lions cut him to save money in their cap space. Obviously, the Bengals can afford that. They're around $30 million in cap space, but that would impact Trey Hendrickson. They are going back and forth on the money, on what they can afford, what they are willing to spend on Hendrickson. Certainly, they could afford giving Hendrickson a pay boost. It just depends on how much. And signing someone like Smith, that would certainly bolster their defensive lineman, that edge rush that it looks like there's promise. They have still Joseph Osai, they have Miles Murphy, Cam Sample. There's ones that have been showing promise at camp so far, and they certainly could step up. But with Smith, he's a veteran. He's a guy that you know he's going to step up and give you production. Just a few things to note about him. Again, he had 9 sacks last year. If you look at his overall, he's played around 10 seasons, and he's averaged around 10 sacks. Now, a few years he's dipped. That was actually the year before the Browns traded him. He had around 5 sacks. But the big thing that sticks out is that his pressure rate is one of the tops in the league. In fact, last year, his pressure rate was 19.1. That got him 12th among all edge rushers, according to PFF. Not too bad, considering the salary of he was paid $11 million last year and was even cut by the Detroit Lions. So just interesting to note that. And that 19.1 pressure rate actually got him better than TJ Watt and Brian Burns. So that's pretty interesting when you think about it, that this guy is sitting on the market. He has had ties to the Bengals, and who knows, maybe if Hendrickson does not come out, have this issue with his contract, and of course Shemar Stewart, he doesn't have any issue, this might have been a guy the Bengals picked up. Interesting to think about. That is a guy that they need to pair, because you have Sam Hubbard, who just retired in the offseason. And like I mentioned, they've got some young guys. They've got potential ones that could line up with Hendrickson. Stewart, of course, could be one of those that would have lined up, but he's still a rookie. He has 0 NFL snaps. This is a proven guy. For the last 10 seasons, he can get you that 18 to 19% pressure rate. That's about how much he's averaged, and he's been up there. He's been one of the top edge rushers in terms of pressure rate, and that's what the Bengals need. They just need to get pressure. Certainly, they could get guys that get those sack numbers up other than Hendrickson, but they just need to disrupt the quarterback. It felt like so many times last year, the opposing quarterbacks had all day to throw. And I don't care if you have a great secondary, if you cannot get pressure, you're not going to be able to stop the quarterbacks in this league. Quarterbacks are elite anymore. They can pick you apart. They have the smarts. They have the ability to read the defense. If it develops, if you give him enough time, he'll pick you apart. But with Smith, he could be that X factor. That's interesting to think about, that they were linked to signing him. But with Hendrickson, it's hard to say. I think it would be very unwise for them to sign him right now, especially right now. If somehow, some way, Hendrickson's contract, it's more reasonable, even at that 25 to 30 million, I don't think he's wanting that. There's been reports that he turned down a 28 million offer from the Bengals. But if somehow he was more around 25 and they went out and got a guy like Smith, oh, that would just be amazing. I would be so excited to see him line up, having a very reliable guy. That's what they desperately need. Because I'm excited to see what these other guys can do. I think with the reps they're getting in training camp with Hendrickson out, with Stewart not there, they certainly are going to grow. And with the new coaches, with Al Golden now in there, I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. But that potential was there. You could line him up with Hendrickson. And I feel that would be a very solid defense. That's the thing that is lacking. It all starts up front, getting the pressure on the quarterback. And we can talk all day about the secondary. The secondary had its struggles last year too. They need to get better in all phases. Let's get that straight for sure. But if you want to improve the defense, you've got to start up front. And that's why this Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart contract dispute has gotten the headlines. This is something that is practically a worst case scenario of you don't have Hendrickson, you don't have a rookie first rounder in-house getting reps. And that is the one space on the defense that has to improve. Hendrickson had a career year. He led the league in sacks, but outside of him, there was practically nothing there. That's got to improve. That has to improve. So interesting to think about, is that still a possibility? I think they need to get these contracts worked out. They have got to get Hendrickson worked out. They got to get him happy, get him in-house, whatever that is within reason. I do feel like 35 million is a lot. I don't think they're going to do that. That's just not the Bengals way to pay someone that's over 30 years old. But we'll see. It remains to be seen. It's going to come down to Duke Tobin just pulling some kind of strings that is able to fit those players into the cap. If somehow, some way, again, they can get Smith in, it makes you just kind of have that sigh of relief, because we're all holding our breath right now. What is that defensive line going to look like? What are they going to do without Hendrickson? That's just, you can't replace that. Point being, they've got to get them worked out. But that's interesting to go back to. Will they get Smith? It remains to be seen. We want to hear from you guys. Do you think the Bengals are going to get things worked out with Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart soon? That they could go after a guy like Smith? Do you think they should plan ahead, maybe as a plan B, have some kind of free agent, someone else to sign in case these contracts are ongoing? Let us know in the comments. We're interested to hear your thoughts on what you think of all of this contract talks with Hendrickson and Stewart. And if you have not already, as we said, make sure you subscribe. We want to get this community growing. We're on our way to 2,000 subscribers. We thank you so much. We appreciate each one of you. So that's going to do it for now. As we say, guys, Uday.